waited too long. But you can see that now, you know, the rice is pretty hydrated, and as you stir it, this whole thing just kind of breaks apart. So it smells a little bit. It helps with the koji to ferment a bit if the mixture is also a bit wet. So that's how this looks after 2 days in the fridge. I'm gonna eat it. Okay, so welcome back to another New Ingredient Monday, where on certain Mondays I will find a new ingredient for us all to try so that we can expand our cooking repertoire and just become better people. So today's a bit of a cheat because I made this new ingredient. So this is supposed to be a Japanese red bean, like a fermented red bean spread. So it's like a red bean plus koji spread, and usually koji is used to make sake, just like fermented stuff. The Japanese use it a lot, and they put it into different things and it ferments into different things. But essentially it is this culture, and it is a starter, it is alive. Usually it's spread on top of rice, and so the starches from the rice is what feeds this culture and this growth. When you initially ferment it, like before it turns kind of alcohol-y, because it's also used to make sake, right before that point, it gets sweet. If you let it go some more, it gets kind of a little bit more funky, a little bit more sour. And if any of you have watched the Koji special and you kind of remember it, people said they like likened it to the flavor of chestnuts / old socks. So yeah, it was a little bit sweet, but it was also a little bit funky at the same time. So I've made this red bean paste. You can actually buy it as well, so I'll put a link to it. And typically what the Japanese will do for this is they'll stick a pat of butter in the middle of this. So it's quite pretty. It's quite rich. I'm not gonna put too much in case if I don't like it. In essence, what this is supposed to do is the koji is supposed to sweeten the red bean paste because it was fermented together. So now it's essentially a red bean paste without added sugar. It is just whatever was fermented from the rice koji and the beans. And so this should be like a sweet paste, but also taste like adzuki beans. I'm gonna try this. I usually get wary of things that I ferment. I don't always love eating them. So what I did was I cooked some adzuki beans until you could mash it with your fingers, and then I stuck it into a rice cooker and got it to like a lower temperature, warm but not hot. I put in the rice koji, which has, you know, all of the cultures and the starters in it, and then what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to like kind of stir it every so often, and then after 8 hours it should be done fermenting, and then you stick it into the fridge. I left it on a little bit longer, but that's because I also turned off the rice cooker a little bit because I thought it got really hot. Like the rice cooker actually, even on the keep warm setting, doesn't really keep warm. It's like actually hot. So I eventually, like I ended up, you know, turning it a bit so that it wouldn't burn and die. The koji wouldn't burn and die. And then I turned it off a little bit, and then I would turn it back on. Anyways, so that took a little bit longer. I stuck it into the fridge for 2 days because I didn't want to film this yet. But sometimes like there's some liquid that collects. Okay. Let me tell you my initial impressions first. When I opened this, after 2 days, it does smell both a little bit funky and a little bit sour. And it could be because I over fermented it ever so slightly, but when I was making my rice koji, I also smelled the same thing. So I have a feeling that it is not just like a sweet spread. I have a feeling it's gonna be, you know, kind of like how rice wine tastes, where, or how like wine or alcohol tastes, where it's like just like a tad funky, a tad sour. So it smells a little bit, it smells a little bit like cheese, just like a little bit. There's the sweetness of like a rice wine, but it also smells like cheese. And I do also smell the adzuki beans, which is like a nice kind of like sweet bean paste. but nothing's growing on it, and I think it's fine because it's only been 2 days. Look at it. Oh gosh. Do you ever have that thing where like when you get nervous, not that I'm nervous, but like sometimes when you're making a speech and you're holding paper, I'm gonna eat it. Hold on. You know what I usually do? Is I try to eat it by itself first. I think with the bread, it tastes great, actually. It is red bean. It is sweet. It is actually quite sweet. So next time, because usually the recipe is like almost like 1-to-1, like the same weight of red bean as you put rice koji, but this is really sweet. So maybe next time I can put less rice koji, because yeah. Let me just eat it by itself first. I put it onto sourdough, so it's already a little bit sour, but oh, you can finish this off with a bit of salt too, and that might help with the sweetness. Okay. It tastes like it smells, actually, but it's somewhat, I don't want to say complex. I think it meshes together in a mellow way really well. When you first taste it, it does kind of taste a little bit like fruit juice, where it is a little bit tangy, it is sweet. And then you have kind of like the creaminess of the red adzuki bean to kind of round off the whole thing. Because if there wasn't that, like sometimes that creaminess kind of mellows out any like sharp flavors. But it also has that like rice wine essence as well. So yeah, like let me know if you all have had this fermented red bean paste before, either from the store or you've made it yourself. Is it supposed to taste just kind of tangy? Like did I over ferment it? Okay, so just let me know that. Yeah, I didn't end up putting, like some people said, like you're supposed to put a little bit of salt at the end of that, and I think that makes sense because salt kind of brings out the sweetness in things. So yeah, let me just try this again now. I think what's nice about mixing it with bread, again, it is very, very sweet. Jeez, okay. It is very, very sweet. I think what's nice about mixing it with bread is bread, I think naturally it had some salt in the sourdough, and the salt kind of balances out the sweetness a little bit. I only made half the recipe, but I don't know if it's totally for me. I wonder if like I can like mix this into something else, like maybe make like a cake or something. Yeah, it pretty much is that. It is sweetened adzuki bean paste, but it is also like sour, but in like a sweet sour kind of like fruity way. Yeah, so I'm interested actually in like, yeah, let me know if any of you have made this before, if any of you have tasted it either in Japan or like at a grocery store, or, you know, because they also sell it as well. Like, let me know how it tastes, okay? Maybe I should go and buy this. I have to go and find it first, but let me know if it's supposed to be a little bit tangy. I don't know. I always want to love things, you know? So it boggles my mind when I don't like something and I'm trying to make it better. Anyways, so I hope you all enjoyed that very, very quick, hopefully. I think that's pretty quick. New ingredient Monday. It's like 8:57 by the time I edit this down. Although I want to keep it at 8 minutes, but by the time I edit this down, I think it'll be snappy. So I hope you all enjoyed that new ingredient Monday. I will see you all again next time.